So, Dave, when was the last time you rode a bicycle?
The Coventry Greenway.
On the Greenway.
Had dinner at Hump in Providence.
Interesting.
So they got a good beer list there.
It's amazing how you and I can take any word and turn it into beer.
They found the face down in his waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake roll.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Lager Room. It is Wednesday, October 28th, 2020. Jersey Johnny coming at you, and with me, as always, is Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Dave.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Folks, we're going to be talking about a bunch of beers tonight, and we're going to get right at it. We were drinking a couple of beers on the Facebook Live event, if you were watching. You'll know.
Drink.
You'll know what we're talking about. And if you haven't watched the Facebook Live event from this week and you're listening to this podcast, if you want a little precursor to what you're about to listen to, why don't you jump on Facebook really quick and take a look at the Facebook Live that we did. It's always going to be there. Every single one of them will stay on Facebook. So just go to the one we did on Wednesday night, Wednesday, October 28th. Check it out. It's only about 15 minutes long. And then you can jump right back into this, and at least you could have a precursor and see what we're wearing, see what we're drinking, see what we look like, as ugly as we are. And
it might be germane to the conversation.
It might just be germane to the conversation. What would you say about Germans? Oh, that was last week, Oktoberfest.
No, we've done Germans.
We've done Germans, yes. So tonight we're doing other things, and we're going to jump right back into it, folks. Dave, you were drinking a beer from Vitamin C, weren't you?
Yeah, I was drinking Grass is Always Greener, and as I threatened to, I did. I mean, I downed the whole damn thing. It's just too good to not just throw that thing back. It's a phenomenal quaff. But so that I can get the tasting notes right for everybody here, like I can get tasting notes right. I opened another one.
He's that dedicated to his craft that he opened another beer.
Just for you guys.
Just for us.
It's not about me. It's about all of you. You are the real heroes.
Absolutely.
I've been watching too many episodes of The Boys on Amazon Prime, but at any rate.
You're the real heroes because you listen to us. That's why.
You subjected yourself to listen to us prattle on about beer.
Exactly.
But I've opened the other one. I was in the middle of everything while we weren't recording. John and I were talking, and I was pouring the beer. The head of the beer, because the glass I have, if you watch the Facebook Live, it's tapered. It's a very heavy glass. It's tapered, so it's really kind of hard to pour into. I poured this one a lot better than what I did on the live, because that's the way things work, right? You get a beautiful pour when no one can see what you're doing.
Right.
But, when everyone can see what you're doing, you get way too much foam. But so I poured this one. I kept pouring, and the head went a good inch above the lip of the glass and never spilled over.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got really great structure to the head of the beer. The beer itself has got amazing, you got some great citrus notes right off the bat. You've got like grapefruit bomb going in it. So your initial sip is all grapefruit, but then you get like kind of a little bit of dank and a little bit of melon in the wash on it. Mm-hmm. But it really makes for such a great drinking beer. You just want to keep going. And I'm going to try not to drink the third one in this podcast, because I do have a beer from another brewery sitting in the chill chest right now for when we get to that. But now we need your tasting notes from that Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin, because now this is a complex beer.
Oh, super
I remember
complex.
I remember when this first came out. This was an amazing beer, and of course, when it first came out, was I don't remember when they first released it. It was a while ago, and
it's been a while. It's been a while.
And back then, being able to handle an 8% beer was, that was a talent. Handling an 8% beer now is, unfortunately, John and I have been at this so long, our tolerance is unhumanly high.
An 8% double New England IPA is.
Yeah,
it's not a session ale by any means, but it's not too far off.
So what are you getting out of this one?
All right, so I'm going to pour a little bit more. In fact, I'm just going to pour the rest of the bottle because I saved.
As we said, it was only a 12, and this beer, if I remember correctly, this beer drinks pretty much almost as well warm as it does cold.
Yeah, there's not. The only difference is the temperature, really. I mean, you're getting, as with most beers, and anybody that really knows how to drink beer knows that the warmer beer gets, and by all means, I don't mean room temperature, just not
Right.
super cold. The warmer beer gets, it opens up. And, drinking it 40, 42, high 30s, low 40s, temperature-wise, maybe even the mid-40s, depending on the style. That's where you want to drink the beer. That's where it's going to have its most flavor. But this particular beer, there's cold.
You
it
can go to
tastes,
50.
you can go to 50 with
go
this beer, and you can drink it at 36, and it's still delicious.
These go to 11.
What goes to 11?
So, those would be the speakers on This is Spinal Tap. It's a Spinal Tap reference. How did you miss a Spinal Tap
I
reference?
totally.
How on earth does John Fladong miss a Spinal Tap
Oh
reference?
my God. I'm totally in this beer right now, and totally.
I threw you a beach ball.
My inner Paul Schaefer was not working.
See now he's trying to
Make up for it.
he's trying to come back here
All
and mention Paul Schaefer was phenomenal in
Absolutely loved him. He was my favorite character in the movie.
in the book. You read the book.
I said movie. I didn't say book.
I could have sworn you said book.
No, I didn't.
I should probably not drink these so fast.
All right. I'll get a bunch of good stuff out of that. That's definitely going to be a teaser or something. All right. Anyway, so Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin. This beer is really it's really phenomenal. It's just such a good beer. Every year this is one of the pumpkins I look forward to. I might have said it in other podcasts, but I'll say it again right now. The top 3 pumpkins I look forward to every year are obviously this one, Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin, Stevens Point, the Whole Hog brand pumpkin. That's such a good beer too, and of course Pumpkin. Those 3.
Pumpkin, Southern Tier.
Southern Tier
But
pumpkin.
what about It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown? Is that not one of them?
Yeah, no.
So you got to expand it to 4.
Got to expand it to 4. There's others too. I mean, you can throw in a lot in there, but Warlock is in there. Schlafly Pumpkin is a really tasty
that's
pumpkin.
a good one.
So let's get back to Weyerbacher. Weyerbacher, a brewery in Easton, Pennsylvania. If you have never been, cool trip. A lot of there's a bunch of stuff going on in Easton right now. There's a couple of breweries out there, and Bethlehem's not too far away either. But speaking specifically of the beer,
Two Rivers.
Two Rivers.
If you've got to go to Two Rivers, the food
is phenomenal. Phenomenal at Two Rivers.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Such a good
Buffalo burger.
place.
Oh, that Buffalo burger.
Yeah, Two Rivers is such a good brew pub. The beer is good. Really spot on, and the food is ridiculous. So take a ride, take a nice trip, go out to Easton. Go to Weyerbacher, enjoy some beer, go over to Two Rivers, get some food, couple of beers over there. Yeah, it's a nice day. Anyway,
and the Crayola Factory. You got to do the Crayola Factory.
Yeah, you can do the Crayola Factory too. That's definitely there's a lot of good things you can do out there. All right.
Oh yeah, there's the old bookshop that's also an espresso bar.
Yes.
Oh, you got to look that one up. That's a good one. So what are your tasting notes? Hit us with the tasting notes.
All right. Well, Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin is 8%. They actually measured the IBUs in this one. It's 21 IBUs. And if you can drink this beer and actually pick bitterness out of this, you're talented. You're very hop bitterness anyway. Maybe they get the 21 IBUs from cinnamon. That's a possibility.
Yeah, but malts can throw some bitterness.
Malts can throw some bitterness in there. That is true. Well, as far as this goes, this is bold. This is a really
it's a
full.
It's a malt bomb.
It's a malt bomb. This is a big malty beer. It's super caramelly. Is that a word, caramelly?
It is now.
It is now. It's right up there with nose feel.
So, right up there with nose feel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the nose feel on this is amazing too. When you smell it, my nose is filled with pumpkin pie. Caramel pumpkin pie, if you will.
You're in a bakery in October.
I'm in a bakery in October. Absolutely. It's a good way to describe it. So, but in any event, like I said, 8%, super big malt bomb, very caramelly. It's got cinnamon, nutmeg, clove. You can pick out some cardamom in there. It's really tasty. It's a nice full-bodied, big malt bomb of a delicious holiday treat, if you will.
There you have it.
Those were our first beers. Before we get into our second beers, you want to talk about, you want to get back to what you were talking about as far as your exploits this past weekend?
Yeah, so this weekend, well, the beer I'm drinking is from Vitamin C. Vitamin C is up in Weymouth, Massachusetts. A lot of people would think it's pronounced Weymouth for Tina Weymouth, the bass player for the Talking Heads.
That is
One of my favorite bass players, frankly.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal. But it's in Weymouth, Mass. Barrel Room Z is like 2 buildings down. Didn't have an opportunity to stop there. Probably should have. But I got to get back up there because I'm going to need more of this damn beer because I am going through this like water. It's 6.4%. I'm just pounding this down. And it may become evident later in the podcast as it starts to hit me because I've not eaten dinner yet. So
I had a late
so
lunch.
we did that. So you're good. So then did I tell you I actually found some New Jersey style pizza here in Rhode Island?
No, you did not.
Napolitano's Brooklyn Pizza in they've got a place in Cranston and they got a place in Providence. In Providence, they're in Atwells, which is Federal Hill, Atwells Avenue. It would be considered good New Jersey pizza. Not great New Jersey pizza, but good New Jersey pizza. And right now, a homesick New Jersey boy, I'm fine with that. It's actually
It'll
pretty
fill the
damn good.
void.
Yes, it will fill the void. But so Vitamin C, Barrel Room Z, Vitamin C and Barrel Room. We've got a lot of letters going on here. It's like a
Vitamin
episode of
C
Sesame
and
Street.
Barrel Room Z.
Yeah, it's like an episode of Sesame Street going on here. So this particular podcast brought to you by the letter C.
Do you want to count?
Yes. So we hit there. As I mentioned, we went to Trillium. I went through a couple of their IPAs there, and we had the Alsacio or something like that. I got a bottle of it. It's a coffee stout of theirs that is really, really good. They really know how to do stouts. What I really appreciate about a Trillium is their judicious use of lactose.
Okay.
Some people put lactose in something and they just go so overboard with it that all you can taste in the aftertaste is lactose. You've got a powdered milk aftertaste for everything they put things in. Trillium knows how to parcel it out finely,
right,
and appropriately, and just make it an enhancer to the beer. Lactose in beer should be like salt on food. It should be there to enhance it. It should not be the main ingredient. And some breweries don't quite understand that yet. And I'm going to leave them unnamed because we don't want to get anybody upset. But that doesn't really segue into what our next beers are.
No.
So last week went to a brewery, and that brewery, having gone to that brewery, sparked the challenge that I gave John. And the challenge was to drink beer from a brewery in the states that we currently reside in, that we had not previously talked about at length, even though they've both been mentioned, but not at length, or have done a beer from either one. So if you're watching the Facebook Live, we are both wearing shirts from the breweries that we chose. So, John, you were wearing a Cane shirt.
I am wearing a Cane shirt. I still am. I was wearing it in the Facebook Live.
You still are.
It's still on.
Yeah, we do not change between the Facebook Live and the podcast. So we don't do that. So, and I am still wearing my Buttonwood shirt.
There you go.
So I do have a beer from Buttonwoods. This beer is called Corner Dilemma. It is a raw India Pale Ale. Now, but a raw IPA is a beer, raw ale. So I look at raw ale, not a raw IPA so much. So I'm really not sure what a raw IPA is. So my research fell a little short. But a raw ale, back in the day, not everyone could not afford a brew kettle where you could actually you could boil the wort. You kind of need metal for that. You try to boil a wort in wood, you're going to burn the wood, of course. So what they did is they took really, really hot rocks, heated them up, and tossed them into the wort. And that's how they got it to the temperature they needed to get to. Then they'd lager it, bring it down to temperature, and then pitch their yeast. So I don't know if that's what Buttonwoods did with this beer. They are a modern brewery. They do have metal brew kettles. So I'd expect that that's may or may not be the case. So I've got to do a little more research to figure out why this is a raw IPA. But I have poured it, and I've poured it into my Rhode Island Brewer's Guild glass, which I earned from visiting a bunch of Rhode Island breweries on their passport. We'll have to discuss that on another one. So I'm giving this a sip. This is there's definitely sediment in it, which one would expect in something called raw. This is a, even though it's kind of got almost a little darker in color than the first beer I was drinking, which I think I described on the Facebook Live as light orange. This is a little darker, but I wouldn't call it orange. I'd call it a dark straw more than anything.
Okay.
It's not as consistently hazy. Let's put it that way. If that makes any sense whatsoever. There's no visual. We don't have a camera on this. I'm definitely getting tropical notes out of this. Which are the tropical fruits? That's hard to say. It's maybe if someone wrapped a pineapple in onion. And it's funny because a lot of people listening, if you're not familiar with IPAs and hops and some of the flavors they throw, that sounds absolutely disgusting, wrapping a pineapple in onion. Some people out there, their taste buds just started to flow. If Jesse Garrity's listening, his taste buds just started to flow on that one. That's like in his wheelhouse.
There you go.
But he prefers the more dank ones, but the onion skins, he goes all the way up to cat piss. He loves that. As a hop flavor, I'm not insinuating he actually drinks straight cat piss. That would be
that would be horrible. That would be horrible.
That would probably be horrible.
And cat piss really refers to Simcoe hops. I mean, really, when you come right down to it.
Well, I love Simcoe hops because I look at them as a perfect marriage between pine and citrus.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So-
speaking of Weyerbacher before, I mean, one of my, back in the day when they brewed it, and, there weren't as many, available options brewery-wise and beer-wise out there. Not that I wouldn't drink it today. I would if they brewed it. But Double Simcoe from Weyerbacher was an incredible good beer.
But Double Simcoe was a great beer. There was a phenomenal version of that they released. If you got the bomber that was cork and cage, it was bottle conditioned, and
Yes.
it was double Simcoe, but with a creamy mouthfeel to it.
Yes.
And the Simcoe really popped in that beer. It was simply one of my favorite beers at that time.
The creamy mouthfeel that you got when you were drinking the cork and cage Double Simcoe was just insane. It was so good. It was such a good beer.
Oh, such a good beer. And as while we're talking about Weyerbacher, they're in their second location. So they used to be down in downtown Easton. They finally moved, out of downtown a little bit. They're up in a business complex. I remember going when they had first opened, and they had this tasting bar up against the wall closest to the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you go, they've got this huge, this rather large square-shaped bar.
It's a big island bar. It's right in the same proximity when you walk in, but it's in front of you instead of to the left when you walk in.
Yeah, it's to the left. There's some great. Oh my God, we could do a whole podcast on my stories from that visit. So, but we need now to have you finished your pumpkin ale?
Oh yeah, I finished it a while ago.
Okay, so now we're going to get on to your Kane shirt. Now, if you're watching if you know what his shirt looked like from the live feed, the Kane logo, if you're not from Jersey, it's hard to understand what their logo is. Their logo is a New Jersey beach badge.
Yes, it is. It's a New Jersey beach badge.
Because in New Jersey, you have to pay to get onto every single beach except one.
That would be correct.
Do you remember what that beach is?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about. I mean, you could be referring to Sandy Hook.
No, you got to pay to get into.
But you don't have to pay to get on the beach. You have to pay to get into the park. Getting on the beach is free.
Park.
That's the
Right.
That's the caveat there.
I believe it is Wildwood is free.
Wildwood is free. Yes, Wildwood is the free
Wildwood.
beach. Any of the Wildwoods.
And that thing is so wide. It's on the beach. It has its own parking lot.
Yeah, you could park 6,000 cars on the beach and still have room to sit on the beach before you get to the ocean. So I could go into stories upon stories upon stories upon stories upon stories of Wildwood when it comes to all of the firefighters conventions that I have attended.
Oh yes,
I could fill 90 podcasts with a quarter of the information from
maybe John has an idea for a whole new podcast.
That might be something I'll have to look into. But right now I'm going to open up this Kane beer which
What
again,
cane-
the
you
logo,
are drinking my favorite cane beer, which is
ironically,
also your favorite.
which is also my favorite. Yeah. It is Cane Driftline. Cane Driftline is an oatmeal brown ale, folks. What makes it very, I'm going to open this. Hold on.
There it is.
There it is. What makes it amazing that I'm drinking this at home right now, I just opened the can, is that they've been brewing this beer since the first year they were open. They've been brewing this beer since they were open for maybe 2 months, and they started brewing this beer. So they've brewed it every year for the last almost 9.5 years. So this will be the 10th time they brewed this beer. This is the first time that they've canned this beer.
It's the most underrated beer they make.
They have never canned this beer before. Yes, this is the most underrated beer they make. Now, I have my favorites when it comes to their barrel-aged beers, and they do very, very, very many of those. Those of you out there that do not know or are not familiar with cane barrel-aged beers, you might want to listen to this podcast a little bit more often because they do quite a few barrel-aged beers.
We will eventually do a barrel-aged podcast, which will get a lot of fun because barrel-aged beers tend to be a little higher in alcohol content, which will make John and I a little more loopier. And I've heard from many people that both of our personalities improve the more we drink.
Absolutely. Whose doesn't really, though?
Oh, no.
I do know a few people. Yeah, sure. We'll leave that alone. So anyway, I'm drinking Driftline. I just poured it. It's such a beautiful beer. It pours a beautiful chestnut. I mean, it's gorgeous. This brown,
like John's hair. Not that anyone's ever seen his damn hair because he's always wearing a hat.
I wear hats. I wear a lot of hats.
So. The man does not wear a hat because he's bald. He's got a full head of hair, but he's too lazy to do anything with it, so he throws a hat on it.
No, it's not that. It's not for laziness of doing anything with my hair. It's for like wearing caps. And it does make it easier.
He likes wearing hats. But he's got a beautiful head. I will say it right now, he's got a beautiful head of hair.
There you go. Thank you. I do. And I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. So.
But the one thing that people need to know about Kane is Mike Kane is an avid surfer. You go into the brewery itself where they do have one of the tasting bars, the internal tasting bar, and his longboard is sitting up there. So all the early beers had surfer references to it.
Mm-hmm. Head high, overhead.
Right. So head high line is the beer, and now drift. So he's drinking a drift line. So if you don't know what a drift line is, I'm not a surfer. Look it up. Yes. Wikipedia's out there. Google it.
Check it out.
But isn't the drift line the thing that attaches the surfboard to their ankle so that if they fall off the board, it doesn't go anywhere?
I believe that's what it is. Yes, I do believe that's what it is. From my minimal experience with the terminology, yes, I believe that's what it is. But as far as the beer goes, I could tell you more about that.
Yeah, because this is about beer. It's not about surfing. So, right. John, what are you tasting?
So I'm tasting just an amazing, amazing brown ale. This is my favorite cane beer. Aside from the barrel aged beers, and this only gets surpassed by 2 or 3 of their barrel aged beers too.
Mexican brunch.
No, not even.
No.
Mexican brunch is probably 4th or 5th.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Depending on where Driftline falls. I won't get into what they are right now, but Picture in Reverse is a barrel aged old ale. It's such a good beer. Object Permanence is a barrel aged barley wine. That's crazy good too. And Tomorrow is already here. They've brewed it a few times or a couple times now. It's a wheat wine, a barrel aged wheat wine. They brew the wheat wine with maple syrup and then they barrel age it in a rye barrel. It's just a ridiculous beer.
Oh, but you don't see too many wheat wines out there.
No,
anymore.
You don't. And when you do, they're most of them are phenomenal when you see them because, as minimal as a release as they are, they're well brewed when they do get released.
But you gotta work your way through the alcohol, through the alcohol sense of them.
Oh, they're boozy as hell, but they're
yes.
Yeah. But they're such good beers. But you take those aside, put them out the window because it's a different level of beer. You're not going to open one of them every night. You're not going to have a couple of them with dinner.
The thing is, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as far as regular beer, not regular beer, but as far as something not along those lines, just every other category of beer, if you will. This is my favorite cane beer.
So if you're not familiar with wheat wines, so you got the wheat wines, you got barley wines. So the wheat wines, the reason they tend to be, come off as so boozy, and barley wines can come off as boozy, but not as boozy as a wheat wine, is because the barley wine has all that tooth of the malts, standing behind it, so it
Sure.
can hide some of that alcohol.
Hmm.
Where a wheat wine doesn't have that oomph that barley does. Wheat does not have that.
Right.
So that alcohol really kind of stands out in a wheat wine. So a wheat wine is not a style for everybody.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. But it's definitely a style for me. But in any event, um, so
onto the beer. So onto the beer. Back to the beer you're drinking.
back to the beer I'm drinking. It's a 6.2%, 32 IBU brown ale. It's super good.
And the mouthfeel of that beer is luscious.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm just as far as the nose feel goes. The aroma of this beer, it's an oatmeal cookie. Just the malts behind it and the oatmeal. It's such a good. It's one of those beers you just want to sniff for a while. It's such a good beer.
Now I'm gonna just caveat this here. It's an oatmeal cookie. John did not say raisin because there's no raisin in this.
No raisin, just an oatmeal cookie.
Just so everyone's aware, it's not an oatmeal raisin cookie. It's an oatmeal cookie. There's few beers out there that I know that I can think of that has used oatmeal as well as oatmeal has been used in this beer.
Yeah, and they're few and far between. This is such a spot on brew.
Because it adds to the flavor, it adds to the nose, it adds to the mouthfeel. It hits all three elements of a beer.
It's crazy good. But as Dave said before, the mouthfeel is just, if, in a word, luscious. It's ridiculously so smooth. It's insane. It's like I'm drinking oatmeal. I should say that. It's like I'm drinking an oatmeal cookie, But it gives you there's just a little teeny bit of the hop bitterness there. It's 32 IBUs, so I mean it's not
a little to balance it out.
Just a little to balance it out, so it's not super sweet from the malt and the oatmeal. But it's almost like if you were attempting to find that perfect balance between hoppy and malty, this is it. They've found that line and they toe right on that line. It's such a well brewed beer. I don't know how much more I can say to get that point across, but
you're being a little effusive here, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, that's such a good beer. But anyway, I mean, if you can, while they have cans of this, and if you hear me talking, if you're listening to this podcast, go get some. I don't know whether they released it. I don't know whether they released it out in market as far as bottle shops go, or can shops, if you will, liquor stores. But they definitely have it at the brewery. So if you're anywhere near Ocean, New Jersey, or can get there, or know somebody that can, I would suggest going to get some of this. If you have any interest in what I just said, this is definitely one of those beers to go get.
I need to find my way back to Jersey because I need to bring back some of that back up to Rhode Island. It would be love that beer. But let me switch gears here a little bit. So
Sure.
John's drinking a cane. I'm drinking a Buttonwoods. John's wearing a cane shirt. I'm wearing a Buttonwood shirt. And every single Facebook Live, we ask each other what we're wearing. So it sounds sometimes like what we're wearing is almost important as what we're drinking. It's not. But it brings up an interesting point, and that's craft beer fashion, right? All craft beer nerds always have their favorite craft beer shirts. So I've got a question, and you guys can comment on this as much as you want, but I'm going to ask this of John.
Sure.
And there's many levels to this question. First level of this question is you buy a shirt from a brewery. Like I'm wearing my Buttonwoods right now.
Right.
Is it cool for me to go to Buttonwoods Brewing wearing my Buttonwood shirt?
I do not.
I would not do that myself.
I akin that to wearing, going to a concert, buying that concert tee, and then putting it on at that concert.
Even worse, you've gone to a concert previously and worn that band shirt. We get it. You like this band. You're at the concert.
Right. I will put a little caveat in that. I have, as if any of you
there is.
I've mentioned
and
this
I know where you're going.
Right. I have mentioned this on the podcast before. I'm a huge Rush fan. I have bought a Rush tee, or actually more specifically, for last few concert tours that Rush did, they actually had jerseys, baseball jerseys, for some of the tour shirts, and a bunch of T-shirts as well.
That's old school right there.
Yeah. I've bought the jersey from a concert tour before, and then the next concert tour worn that jersey to that concert tour. I let that go. I mean, that's fine. It's the day. I'll even akin it to this. going to if anybody out there runs. I run. I don't run marathons by any means, but I'll run 5Ks, 10Ks, whatever.
Right.
Going to a 5K, signing up for 5K, going there, signing in. They hand you your T-shirt for the race, and you put it on and run that race in that T-shirt.
Well, yeah, that's a given. Well, and it's also, I will liken it also to, so I do polar bear plunge.
Sure.
When I was in Jersey, I did, I think, 7 or 8, maybe even 9 of them.
Right.
And anybody who's done the polar bear plunge, when you do it, they give you a sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
Sweatshirt has the logo, it's got the year and all that.
Right.
Everybody who has done it prior will wear the sweatshirt of the first polar bear plunge they've done.
Sure.
To show everybody how long they've done it. So those things I get. But I think wearing a brewery shirt to the brewery that you're going to, I don't know.
Yeah.
For some reason, I got a problem with it. It's hard for me to explain. But there's another layer in this.
I've just, before you get to the other layer, I've never, to the best of my knowledge, the best of my recollection, I've never worn a brewery shirt of a brewery that I was going to that brewery. So I've never
done it once.
I've never.
I've done, I did it. And the reason I did it,
other than for work, and I'll leave that one alone.
Well, yeah, we'll leave that be. But I did it once because there was a time where I would pour for carton, and there was one event where I was pouring for carton. We wound up at the brewery afterwards, and I was still wearing my carton shirt.
Well, then again, there you go. It was for work.
Yeah,
technically, whether you're getting paid or not, it was for work.
Yeah,
right. 601. But yeah, no, I do not do that. In fact, I make it a point to wear if I'm going for example, if I'm going on a trip, if I'm going to I'm going away for a long weekend, and I know I'm gonna the destination I'm going to, I'm gonna hit 10 breweries over the course of that long weekend or something or whatever. I don't really completely nerd out, but I will. I'll bring obviously a bunch of beer swag, if you will, with me, and I will make sure, like, if I'm going to, a brewery, that's, I'll wear a brewery shirt of equal caliber, if you will, from somewhere else, not from there, and it's not a local competitive brewery, not that breweries are competitive by any means, but it's not the brewery down the road. It's somewhere 6 states away, that kind of a thing. I consciously do that, but yeah, and the same thing with caps too.
But you just said something of very, very much importance. Equal caliber.
Yes.
So there's layer 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you get these guys at beer festivals, at breweries, and they're wearing their Hill Farmstead shirts. They're wearing their Treehouse shirts or a Treehouse cap. And sometimes I do look at it that way, that why would you wear that? These breweries don't need promotion.
Not at all.
Now the one thing that John and I know we agree on this, is we tend to wear, if we're out of state, we're wearing shirts of breweries from our state.
Sure.
Right. We're representing for the the state that we're from. So now I've got 2 states to represent for. So I've got a nice array of shirts to do that with. But if you're within state, John's like me, we like to wear the shirts from the smaller breweries. Mm-hmm. The ones that not everyone knows. And it's really, is it to be niche? Okay, maybe every now and then, but it's also to get awareness for these smaller breweries that are out there.
That's exactly right.
Right. So when I go to a brewery or any kind of beer event, I see someone wearing a Treehouse shirt. It's like, yeah, okay, you went to Treehouse. Wow, you're so awesome.
No, make no mistake.
It's so damn judgmental, and I get that, but it's hard for me to not think that way.
And make no mistake, the Treehouse shirts are awesome. They're really, really
they
well.
Are.
They're really well made. So I have at least 3 of them myself, but. But
I do not have a Treehouse shirt.
I have 3 of them actually. I have a Julius, a green, and a That's What She Said shirt. I have all 3 of those.
Is that what she said?
That's what she said. And the same goes for caps too, by the way. I don't if I'm wearing, the same rule applies to caps, but also if I'm oddly enough, I'm not going to wear, like I'm wearing a Cane shirt right now. I'm not wearing a Cane cap. I'm not
right.
I don't work for them. I don't, I'm not wearing both. I'm not going out and selling beer. So I only do that if I am going out and selling beer for a brewery. I would do that. But
that I have 4 beer hats.
I have more.
I know you more. More is not the word. I would be surprised if John's beer hat collection was under 100.
Not even close.
It's well over.
Yeah.
Yeah, well over. But yeah, so the craft beer fashion is so now the third layer of craft beer fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just the other layer is just the guys that won't wear the craft beer shirt, and these are the flannel kings.
These are the flannel kings, yes.
They got the big beards, the flannel. There's that great meme. The last thing a craft beer sees before it dies, and there's all these guys in flannel with huge beards. That is so stereotyping, but it's stereotypes exist for a reason.
Absolutely.
But it's we're really talking about the shirts from the breweries. So.
Absolutely. And to wrap up, to sum all this up in a sentence, merchandising is alive and well in the craft beer industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And eventually, John and I will order our smug beanies.
Yes, I will definitely.
Our winter beanies.
I will be ordering a smug winter beanie, or toque, if you will, very, very
Toque.
Shortly.
Toque.
And maybe, just maybe, you might spot the odd lager room cap or lager room shirt or something.
Are we gonna merchandise?
We might.
Ooh, we might have to get some Beer Samurai logo.
Just a little bit of a teaser on that one. So we'll leave it at that, and then bid you adieu on this week's podcast.
I got some chocolate to eat.
Dave's got some chocolate to eat because it is, again, also National Chocolate Day. So Dave's going to go eat his chocolate. And I will bid you adieu by saying thank you for listening to this podcast. We want you to make sure that you hear all of the podcasts. If you reached this podcast on any of the links on our social media or our website, which is www.lagerroom.com, LAGERROOM.com. And of course, all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all at The Lager Room. If you reached it on one of those links there, you're going to want to go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn or Stitcher, and subscribe to our podcast feed. This way you will not miss any podcast whatsoever.
I've not done that yet.
If you have not all done that yet, shame on you.
I have not.
Oh, you have not done that
I have
yet.
not.
You are.
Well,
shame
I
on
hear
you.
them as we say them.
I know, it's true. All right, folks. Yeah, you're on it. What are you going to listen to it for? I'm kidding. Yeah, you got to listen to it. We all listen to it. I listen to it.
I should probably listen to it.
Pete and Harry listen to the sports one, so
I hate the sound of my own voice, actually.
Well, there you go. We'll just listen, and you'll get used to it, and it'll be better. So
there we go.
All right, folks. Once again, thanks for listening. Enjoy your weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And
any opinions expressed here, please feel free to lambaste us about them.
Yes, write in on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Write in, send a message in on our website, and we'll get back to you. And we'll respond either on the Facebook Live or the podcast as well, so or both. So anyway, have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you, folks. Take care.
Bye, guys.
They found him face down in his waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake rug. Who did he see when he heard who was there? Now it seems that he shit out of luck. This little penny that you